Gem Dealers is back, and we are here to drop some knowledge on NBA and collectible items for basketball. I am Tito with my boy
Anton.
and what a week it has been.
Yeah, exciting times, man. Exciting times to be an NBA fan right now. NBA is back in full effect. We've had a few nights of heavy NBA scheduling. A lot of games, a lot of actions happening, a lot of news around the NBA right now.
Yeah, Kawhi is already on load management as we speak.
Yeah, load management for Kawhi today. But as we're recording this, the Clippers and the Jazz, it's a tight game. Tight game. That team is deep, so I'm surprised that Kawhi actually decided to sit out the Utah game. Utah is one of the teams.
Well, they're playing San Antonio Spurs tomorrow. He wants to be 100% for that, and he wants to be well rested for that, and he's waiting to kick their ass, I guess, and give them their first loss.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. Tomorrow's. I think it's a safe bet. He's gonna drop like 30 tomorrow at least.
Indeed,
He's gonna go off.
Indeed. So why don't we do a quick recap of the past week, and let's start with LA's the Battle of the LA.
Yeah. That was the second game of the night. Wow, what a game!
Was it something that you expected?
Yeah. I mean,
I did not expect that.
Really?
Without Paul George and everything, and but they just seemed like chickens without their heads out there and just running around not knowing exactly what's going on. They'll figure it out eventually. They'll figure it out.
The Lakers, you mean?
The Lakers, yes.
Yeah, well, they've done pretty well since. I mean, they picked up that loss, but they've had a couple of good wins. I think they beat Utah, and then a couple of whatever teams, Hornets and Memphis. But Clippers right now, I think they look like rightfully the favorites to win the championship. It's too early for that, but
Yeah.
yeah, that team is great. Montrezl Harrell's killing it. Sweet Lou, he's doing his thing.
Pat Bev.
Talking shit.
Yeah,
he's already
nothing's
talking.
changed.
But, yeah.
So let's move on. Who
Yeah.
else? Who else do we got on the West?
In terms of, I mean, what do you think of Denver so far?
Oh man, Jokic,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, but
MVP.
he's.
On his way.
I mean, I wish. Like, I actually got a bet in on him for MVP. But yeah, so far, I mean, they look good. Jokic is good. There was a game where I tried to watch.
You also stacked up on Jokic, didn't you? With his
That whole
cards.
team, man. That whole team.
The
I
whole
love.
team you stacked up on.
Yeah, I love what they've been doing for the past few years. They're stacked on talents. They have guys that could start in maybe like 20 different teams coming off the bench.
In the East, maybe.
East, yes. Yeah, they have depth, but they're just young. I think they're built to win regular season games.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're at the top of the West when it's all said and done. But playoffs, I don't know how they're going to do it. But I really like Jokic. I'm a big fan of Jamal Murray.
Because he's Canadian?
He's from... yeah, he is. He is Canadian. Yeah, I think you knew that one.
You didn't even know. Okay.
No. We live literally a 30-minute drive from where he...
He's from Brampton, right?
He's from Kitchener.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's about 30 minutes drive from where we live. I like him. I'm a big fan of Gary Harris. He's had a injury-riddled career so far, but when he's on, that team is dangerous.
What about that guy, the Porter Jr., Michael Porter Jr.?
Lot
Has
of
he
hype,
been doing
lot of
good
hype.
right now, though? How is he?
It's only been 4 games now, I think, that Denver played, and Porter Jr. hasn't been able to get into the rotation. That team is deep, man. That team is deep, but I'm actually surprised that they're not even throwing him out there for 10 to 15 minutes or so.
I guess maybe he's just not really 100% yet.
I don't think so. I think
Or
maybe
is it his condition that his
he played in the
conditioning?
preseason. He was getting minutes in the preseason, but Denver is just deep. Like they have guys at that position, and I think they really like Jeremy Grant. That was one of their ads. He's a glue guy, so I think they're trying to just win games and get going that way. On a side note, Michael Porter Jr. A lot of hype. His cards are still overpriced. People are still buying them.
Hasn't played one NBA game yet, and
Not yet, and he's healthy.
And
he's healthy.
but they're
yeah.
all ready, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So
I wonder if they'll trade him.
I thought that was the plan. I thought they were just going to showcase him and then use him as a trade piece. But
Maybe a quarter of the season before they'll start playing him and they'll start showing him off. But yeah, they just got an L last night, Denver.
against a very good looking Mavs team. Luka is doing Luka things right now. He's and Porzingis looks pretty good too. Porzingis looks nice.
That duo is looking good. The
Yes.
Europeans.
Yes. Mark Cuban's Euro team is killing it. I think Luka's averaging like 29, 10, and 7 with 2.5 steals. And Kristaps is doing his own thing at 26, 5, and 3, and 2.7 blocks. Wow, that's
Good. That's good. He's playing defense.
yeah. Kristaps.
That's new.
I think for Kristaps, no, I think he's a very good defender. That team, I don't know what kind of expectations people had coming into the season. A lot of people didn't even pick them to make the playoffs. But
Well,
they're
you know
looking
what?
good.
They were thinking Golden State was gonna take that last place, but that's not gonna happen. The way they're playing right now.
The way they're playing right now,
Oh,
they might take the last place, but it won't be the 8th seed. It might be the 15th seed. Yeah, Warriors. Wow. I almost feel bad, but it's the Warriors. They've had their fair share of winnings.
Yeah, and it's just so funny how they got this brand new arena and what a bad timing.
Yeah. And the first game, I think Kawhi was there to open up the arena, and he just
No,
he was balling on them.
there was the thing. Kawhi gave them their last loss
At the Oracle.
from the Oracle,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they gave them their first loss in their new arena, which is good for
Kawhi-
him, I guess. Good for him.
Good for Kawhi, yeah. I guess Kawhi is, I don't know, he's something else.
So you just talked about one of the shitty teams. So let's talk about San Antonio, 3-0, undefeated.
And I think Kawhi is trying to end that too.
Oh, that's right.
He sat out the game tonight
That's
just to be ready for Popovich.
Possibly the new king of LA.
Yeah, possibly, yes.
He's coming for that throne, and LBJ is just trying
Yeah.
to ignore everything right now,
I don't
turning
think,
everything off.
Yeah, I don't think you can resist that. Kawhi is he's special. Yeah, the Spurs. The Spurs are that's the Spurs machine, man. They're 3-0. I think DeRozan is playing well. Aldridge is playing well, and they just have a good system over there.
They got Pop. That's
Exactly.
what that really comes down to. It. They got Pop. He's a genius.
Yes, and this. I've been trying to pay attention to what DeJounte is doing over there. He's had a crazy good start. I think he's averaging 14.7, 8.5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and almost a block, and shooting at 55 and 87. But right now he's still on a minute restriction, so they're trying to keep him in the mid 20s. And the way they're doing it is 5 on, 5 off. So he plays for 5 minutes, he goes off for 5 minutes, and then he comes back. So they try to keep him warm throughout the whole game. Spurs are looking good. A lot of people, even coming into the season, they said they were going to be one of the teams to miss the playoffs.
I thought they were gonna do that last year.
I thought people have been saying that for years, man.
Yeah.
But this
it's
team,
Pop. It's Pop.
Yeah,
It's Pop. It's all Pop.
until they don't make the playoffs, I'm never going to pick them to not make the playoffs. They just know how to grind it out, and in the playoffs they're gonna lose, but they're looking like they're gonna put up close to 50 wins again.
What about James Harden blowing up today? 59 points.
He finally got his 3 back. I think.
His 3 back.
Yeah, tonight he went 5 for 11 from 3, but up to the game going in today, the stat was crazy.
But Westbrook had a I think he had a crappy game tonight, and Harden just completely took over.
Right.
So they're also still getting accustomed to each other again.
Yeah.
So they're looking good. They're looking better than
Yeah.
CP3 and Harden duo.
Oh, for sure, for sure. They look good. I mean, PJ Tucker's even been playing well. Um, yeah, I think Houston's fine. Houston's in the West. I think they're going to end up finishing top four. Um, but yeah, let's hit on some of the teams that have not been very impressive to start the season.
The ones that hasn't got a win yet.
Yeah.
Got the Kings.
Yeah, we got the Ki- oh. That's I'm surprised by the Kings, man. This is
You know, they're blaming a lot of this on the coach, poor guy.
yeah.
What's his name? Luke Walton.
Luke Walt. Yeah, well,
Lukewarm Walton.
he hasn't really. He's apparently he's a player's coach, but I mean he hasn't really done anything in his career in terms of coaching. I mean,
He never should have left Golden State.
yeah. Well, and also, right, and also, they had the unfortunate injury with Marvin Bagley. I think was that on the first game? I believe it was in the first game.
It was in the first game. I think it was the second.
Was the second game?
Because I remember he played that first game, and I was really impressed because I have him on one of my teams. And after that,
yeah, he has a fractured left thumb, and he's gone 4 to 6 weeks. And Buddy Hield and Darren Fox, they haven't looked so hot either. They haven't. Buddy Hield got his big extension that he was complaining about all off season.
I thought it was dropping threes. He's
The first 2 games he averaged 24.5 points.
okay.
The last 2 games he's averaged 4 points.
Ouch.
Yeah, so that's not gonna cut it.
Man.
And Darren Fox.
He got
has
his
been-
money, and he's like, okay.
Yeah, and Darren Fox has been. There's a discount. A lot of hype coming into the season for Darren Fox. He had a horrible start. If you're looking for discounts on Darren Fox cars, this might be a good time to look into that.
There's a good buy low right now.
Yeah, so I actually thought this team had a chance to maybe even fight for that 8th spot, but it's not looking good. And we also have the Pelicans that haven't got a win yet, but I think they've had.
They'll figure. I like Pelicans. They give him a little bit of time. The coach Alvin Gentry is also just trying to figure the team out himself. It's a young team.
Yeah, well, and Drew Holiday I think missed the last 2 games with the left knee injury. I think he's expected to make it back in time for the game against the Denver Nuggets.
And I thought it was Lonzo Ball that's gonna have a breakout season, but I may have spoken a little too early because Brandon Ingram is just around the corner and he is killing it right now.
Brandon Ingram looks very good right now.
We've always liked Ingram, and I thought he was gonna have a little bit of a down year because he didn't have a good ending last season.
Right.
But oh man.
But he came out and said that he likes it in New Orleans. He doesn't away from the spotlight of the
LeBron.
Lakers.
He's not under LeBron no more.
Yeah, so he's averaging right now 27, almost 10 rebounds, almost 5 assists, and he's a good defensive player too. So he's averaging a block and a half and about a steal, and he's leading the team in minutes and points.
Well, don't sleep on Ball, guys. Lonzo Ball. I still think that he'll improve. He's already got an improved free throw shot. He's got an improved 3-point shooter.
Yeah, he has to shoot threes.
He's got a brand new shot altogether.
Yeah. I think he's part of the future for the Pelicans. I'm not too sure about Brandon Ingram because even going back to I think it was in early September or late August on our Instagram page @GemDealers. Come follow us there. We put out a post where we had Brandon Ingram as one of the breakout candidates for this year. But at that time, I didn't think he was going to ball out the way he's balling out right now. But it's part of it is because of the Zion injury, because he's filling in for a lot of the minutes that
that's right.
it's there right now. But it's going to be interesting because the Pelicans didn't give Ingram the rookie extension this coming into the season, so he's going to be a restricted free agent at the end of the season. So that's going to be an interesting.
He's working for it. He's working for that contract extra hard.
I mean, he's going to get max money. It doesn't matter. I think the Pelicans were just worried about the health issues and they didn't want to get money tied up in there. But now I'm sure they're regretting it because now all the other teams are going to go after him once the season ends.
So it's Zion. Is Zion still the same in terms of value in the streets, or
I think
has it changed anything?
I think it's
People backtracking.
there's probably a lot of people with some regrets right now from Zion cards, but again, it's just the college cards out right now. So we'll see once the actual the good sets start coming out how well his prices do. But I don't think people are too worried about it yet.
I seen this from the I saw this coming, and I don't know. We'll
It's-
see. We'll see what happens.
I think I'll give him
It's
a
too
pass.
big. It's too heavy.
I'll give him a pass on this injury, but if it happens,
One
if he's-
more.
yeah,
If it happens, one more, huh?
if he can't stay on court, then that's gonna be an issue.
And we got Josh Hart. That's
Impressive with Josh
He's
Hart.
been the sniper of the team. Well, I'm actually disappointed in JJ Redick at the moment because I thought he would do much better. He would have more time to shoot, and Lonzo Ball is there as a passer, and
Yeah.
he's not. He hasn't impressed. I don't think he wants to stay in this team. I think he's gonna ask for a trade. eventually.
JJ? No, I don't think so.
I think so. He's like what 15, 14 straight playoff appearance, and
appearances,
now
yeah.
it could potentially be in danger.
But
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets traded.
I'm not too sure about that. I think I don't have too much to say about JJ Redick. He's a vet. He'll come through. But yeah, their playoff hopes are not looking good.
Okay.
I think
well,
that streak is ending.
I think we covered West. Shall we do East now?
Yeah. So who has impressed you from the East this far?
Well, I'm gonna have to say our team, Toronto.
Yeah, Raptors.
A lot of
Raptors,
people,
yes.
a lot of people. I don't know. I know a lot of people looking down on them ever since
Kawhi
Kawhi
left.
left. But damn, Pascal is the real deal.
Pascal, yes, he came in. He
That's
just
a future
came on
That's a
fire.
future All Star right there. If he keeps it up.
Oh, he's gonna make the All Star for sure this
And-
year and for
And
many years. to
His
come.
his. I wonder how is his value? How is his cards doing out there?
Very well, very well. For Siakam, I mean that's the year. That's his key card is the Prizm Silver, and I think even the raw cards are averaging around 140, 150, and if you want a PSA 10, I think it's going to cost you about $400 now.
Wow.
But he's killing it. I wasn't even completely sold on Siakam being the focus of the Raptors offense. I wasn't sure how he would react to opposing defense, like game planning for him, but he's doing very well.
We'll see. We'll see. It's still early. They've been playing not so good teams anyways. So
Well, they got
and they lost to Boston.
they did lose to Boston, but Boston tonight actually came from behind to beat Milwaukee. So that's Boston's.
Milwaukee, say goodbye to Giannis, guys. Start saying goodbye to him. I think he's gonna leave that team.
I don't know. It's too early. It's too early to speculate on that. But the Raptors are actually facing Giannis and the Bucks on Saturday, which is a couple of days from now, and that's the game where I'll be watching closely to see how Siakam does. I think that's the first big game for Siakam.
Especially if Giannis plays defense on him. That's the thing with Siakam. You get a good defender, especially like somebody bigger than him, man. That's why he's working so much on his shots.
Yeah.
Because once he gets in that paint, he ain't shooting over those guys.
But Siakam's good. So far, I'm very impressed. Then,
OG.
Yeah,
OG looks like mini Kawhi out there right now.
I think that's
In terms of defense.
yeah.
In
he's-
terms of defense.
He's got the body to be a good defender, the length. I'm surprised that he's hitting threes, almost 2 a game, which is very impressive, and he's averaging over 2 blocks and 1.5 steals. So OG is very cheap right now, guys. If you might want to look into OG Anunoby. I think you can get his Prizm Silvers for under $50, graded PSA 10. I think that's got some very good short-term and mid-term upside.
Is it too early to start collecting Van Vliet?
I don't know if it's too early or if it's just not.
Not yet.
I personally, I know Van Vliet is a big Raptor.
He's got a fan base in Toronto.
He's got a big fan base. I'm one of the guys who's not too optimistic on Van Vliet. He's just, I don't know. I'm not high on him, but his cards, because he came out of the G League. He was undrafted, so he missed out on a lot of cards. Like, he's not in a lot of sets. But there is some Van Vliet rookies out there. I've seen the optic ones, and I think I don't know if he made it in time for the Prizm. So I don't think I've ever seen a Van Vliet Prizm. So maybe the optic ones might be cards that you want to look at if you're big on Van Vliet.
Well, since we're talking about facing off Bucks on Saturday, why don't we talk about them now? They just lost today.
That was a horrible. I was watching the first half of the game, and then I had to step outside. So they were up big. I think they put up like 43 points or something like that in the first quarter. 38 points in the first quarter, and it looked like they had the game in the bag at the end of first half. And then I checked the score after the third quarter, and they were losing. And Giannis had back-to-back air balls on a free throw, which is wow.
But he's been, well, I saw him hit a couple of threes the past couple of games.
He's trying. He's trying.
It looks like he's improved his 3-point shooting, but his free throw, I didn't expect the free throw.
He's always been an ish free throw guy, but right now I think he's averaging around 50%, which is way too low. Because then it's just gonna be, teams are just gonna foul him.
I think he's just getting pissed off because his team sucks and he knows it. Everybody knows it.
I don't think they suck. I think they're still gonna win a lot of games, man.
Yeah, but down the stretch, when it really counts, that's when you really see.
I mean, they have some depth. I mean, a very underrated loss from the off season was Malcolm Brogdon. That was they lost a good point. That's a glue guy. That's an anchor on a team, and I don't know why they didn't just pay him and keep him. But other than that, they got the Lopez brothers there now. So I was watching the game.
I don't even see those two guys together. I always see Brook Lopez play. I never see the other guy. I see
Today,
him sitting down on the bench.
I was watching the game earlier, and Robin Lopez hit a three. Robin Lopez is taking threes. I guess his brother is teaching him. And then he had a weird ass celebration on the way back. He was stirring up a teapot or a teacup.
Oh gosh,
those guys are.
Teabagging. Okay, what about the top East? Sixers. The only undefeated in the East, I believe.
I would think. I don't know. Undefeated, I guess. In terms of basketball game, I think Joel Embiid threw it down earlier today against the Minnesota game.
Yeah, against
that looked like a draw to me. That looked like a he's getting suspended.
Did I say Wiggins? I think Towns hit the floor first, and he hit it pretty. He hit the whole body fell, and then Embiid halfway fell. I don't know, but I'm not surprised that Embiid could take that guy though.
Yeah, no, they couldn't. It was Embiid. Embiid was the instigator. I think he pushed Towns, and then Towns turned around and swung and missed, which is good for him.
So there's going to be some suspension handing down.
I think it's going to be, we're going to see. And the thing with Embiid that annoys the shit out of me, it's all the taunting and all the BS.
It's okay. I don't mind that.
If you're going to do things like that, then you shouldn't cry, right? You shouldn't get caught crying on national television.
Just an emotional guy,
Right.
Right. Oh, it's Simmons. How's Simmons doing?
Simmons is good. Simmons,
how's his 3-point shooting?
I don't know if he's attempted any yet.
I think he got one in during the preseason.
Yeah, almost.
I remember it was everywhere. It was all the highlights.
Yeah, when he makes a three, I'm pretty sure we'll see it on Sportsnet. But other than that, though, he's been distributing the ball well, and he's being aggressive.
They have a really good first lineup team. Tobias, Harris. The worst player on that team is, worst.
The worst player on that team is Horford.
Horford.
I mean, worst. starter is Josh Richardson, which
But
is
he's a defender though. He's there for defending.
sort of. But when Josh Richardson is your fifth best player,
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I mean, he was Miami tried to give him the team last year.
So who do they have? Who do they have on the bench? Nobody.
Mike Scott. So yeah, so
Mike Scott.
Embiid was horsing around with Mike Scott after the fight. I mean, I don't know. It's their hopes are just with Embiid's health, man. If he goes down, they're screwed.
That is true. So let's talk about Boston, the one team that beat
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, Boston. How do you feel about the Celtics as a team?
Kemba still needs to get used to that team, obviously, but
Yeah.
he'll get there. He's a shooter. He'll get there. Tatum is looking good, and that's Kobe Bryant talks highly of him. But apparently he's trying to
Yeah,
play differently now. I don't know. I heard that somewhere on the news. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart has been playing well.
yes. Yeah, Marcus Smart is a very good role player. And Hayward is actually not looked horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
last year he looked like a
But that's kind of that's kind of
Yeah.
something that's normal coming back from a major injury like that. So for him to come this year and be healthy and playing well, that's something that's
Yeah.
good.
yeah. I don't know how I feel about the Celtics. I mean, to me, they're such a I don't want to say. I guess they're kind of boring just to watch in terms of as a spectator. I don't really find like Tatum is a mid range. He's just a glorified DeMar DeRozan, I guess. Or and I've seen a lot of DeMar DeRozan in my time with here in Toronto as a Raptor fan, and yeah, that's just a team. I don't enjoy watching that team, but I think they'll be fine. I don't know if
Well, they don't got Kyrie no more to kind of screw the team over with this drama. So
but Kyrie's fun though. Kyrie in Brooklyn, like he
he's
dropped
giving
50.
Them, he's giving them the drama right now. They have a one win.
Yeah, I mean, they had a horrible start though. I mean, a couple of the games they lost in overtime to the Wolves. That's where Kyrie dropped 50, and then he did some Uncle Drew moves where he tripped and he bounced off.
He bounced off his ass. And
He still got the shot off, which was
Yeah.
kind of impressive. But
I don't think that the defender was expecting it.
yeah, and he's got a. And they have another overtime loss with against Memphis. So two of their losses are. It's we'll see, but Kyrie looks good. Karis LeVert looks fine. That whole situation with DJ and Jared Allen. Some nights DJ plays more. Some nights Allen plays more.
Well, it looks like it's gonna be Jarrett that's gonna be getting moved. Hopefully he gets moved.
I hope so.
This kid deserves more minutes, and he ain't gonna learn from DeAndre
Yeah,
Jordan.
DeAndre doesn't have a reputation for being a very good vet. Other than that, who haven't we hit on from the East? Miami, yes. Miami looks impressive.
And Jared Butler just came back today.
First game
And-
back, yeah.
and-
yeah.
Oh wait, yesterday,
yeah.
He played really well.
Yeah.
Same with our guy that we will be talking about later on, Tyler
Yeah.
Hero.
The rookie. Yeah, yesterday's game, once Butler came, he moved to the bench. He went off on that game. I think he dropped 29 points in 29 minutes.
Yeah, Bam Adebayo has been doing well. He's the assists coming in there. That's a good bonus there.
Yes. Bam is very good. Bam is actually he was one of the fantasy. He wasn't much of a sleeper by the time the drafts came around, but he's doing well.
Yeah, because I think we all knew that Hassan Whiteside wasn't gonna be sticking around because of his injury and
Just attitude in general.
his
Just
attitude. And Bam was coming out last year, and it was a good time for them to let go of Hassan Whiteside.
Yeah, Miami. what are they? I guess they're 3-1 now, or 4-1.
I
3 and
think
1.
they're 3-1.
3-1, and they had an impressive win over the Bucks, overtime win. I think, yeah, they put up like ridiculous. I think 130 some points on the Bucks. So Miami, yeah, they're looking nice. I guess, I don't know how much of a surprise team they are, but I think they've established themselves as maybe.
They're a surprise team because we knew Butler is gonna be like the only good player that they have. Now all of a sudden you got Kendrick Nunn coming out of nowhere. You got Hero shooting the lights out. You got Bam playing well in the center. And yeah, they're definitely a surprise team. I wouldn't be surprised if they make the playoffs this year.
Oh, I think they will. They will.
Yeah.
They will. Yeah, the only team I guess right now that's truly disappointing is Indiana Pacers.
I think I have always been disappointed in Indiana. Well, they still don't have what's his face.
Oladipo. Oladipo's gonna. Hopefully, he's back by December sometime.
And they just lost Miles Turner. Miles Turner, went down with an injury tonight. We don't know how bad it is yet.
I think he sprained his ankle or something. It didn't look too
For
good.
a big guy to hurt their ankle, it's never a good thing. But hopefully he'll be all right. I like him.
Yeah, Miles Turner, Sabonis. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon is probably the best player on that team right now. He's averaging.
Him and Sabonis.
And Sabonis, yes, but Sabonis is a defensive black hole. But yeah, Brogdon's he's
He'll
damn
give
near.
you that easy double.
I
Now
mean,
that Miles Turner is gone, especially.
Yes, but I just don't like. I've always been a Miles Turner over Sabonis guy, just because Sabonis is, I don't know. He reminds me a lot of
Enes Kanter.
Enes Kanter, yes, Enes Kanter, Greg Monroe, those type of players who are just.
Greg Monroe, I haven't heard that guy.
Yeah, he was good, man. They get you buckets, but they also just give it right back.
It sounds like Sabonis is a really under the radar type of guy. Now I think a lot of people are underestimating how Sabonis really plays because every time I look at this guy's stats, he's a double machine.
Right, but stats necessarily don't translate to wins. They're 0-3, right? So, I mean, yeah, I'm in on Miles Turner. I've been on Miles Turner. I have a bunch of his rookie stuff. But yeah, they're in a bit of a trouble. Maybe Oladipo comes back, but he's gonna need some time to just warm up and get his legs under. So we'll see. Pacers are in trouble.
So why don't we talk about Atlanta?
Okay, yeah, Atlanta. We're actually gonna do the team spotlight on Atlanta later in the pod. Trae Young.
Trae Young is hot.
Yes,
he's scorching hot.
He's Trae Young's rookie cards were already, they ran up as of the offseason, I guess, pretty much from the end of last year. So he's one of the players that, like, in terms of pricing, just shot through the roof every game.
I was really high on him last year.
Trae Young. But he is out of commission, right ankle sprain.
Day to day. So, but they'll probably give him a little bit more rest. But he's apparently day to day.
I've heard 1 week. I've heard 2 weeks in places, and Atlanta, realistically, they're not really shooting for the playoffs. I mean, I think they'd be surprised if they make the playoffs. So I don't know why they would rush him back. This is their cornerstone. This is their piece.
They need one more. They need one more piece, maybe.
They do,
but they're looking good. John Collins, also another guy that we're big on. We'll get on the team spotlight later on. But yeah, John Collins, their rookie Hunter, DeAndre Hunter, those guys.
Yeah, they have a coach, Lloyd Pierce, who's willing to just develop these guys. He's willing to just let them run out there and make mistakes and just play through mistakes. So they're on a team on the come up. It's a development year for them, but they're a fun team. Trae Young is really fun.
Okay. Well, I think that's everyone on the East.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's happened, I guess, in this first almost, I guess now it's been 8 days of the NBA.
But they have not disappointed.
It's been lots happened, man. Fights are breaking out. Guys are getting popped for using illegal substances in Phoenix. A lot is happening. Let's talk some rookies right now. What have you noticed so far? Who do you like?
I liked Tyler Hero from the beginning. I still like Tyler Hero. He's been fairly consistent.
Yeah.
I thought the return of Jimmy Butler and him getting moved in the bench was gonna be something that'll,
I think
affect his stats, but it would actually ended up getting better. Like you were talking about earlier, you said that he's never been a bench player before in his life, so he got his first bench today, and he went off 29 points
in 29 minutes.
Wow, see.
That was a very and I mean coming off the bench for him, I think it's going to give him more freedom, more shots because he's not taking away shots from Butler or any of the other guys.
He'll be a starter by soon. I think soon enough he'll take over somebody's. But if he's doing well in the bench right now, we'll see what happens.
Who else has caught your attention?
Rui Hachimura. Once
that's
again,
your boy.
my international appeal player.
Yeah.
So he's been consistent. He's been with him and Bradley Beal.
That team. I mean, he's going to get a lot of opportunities. They're going nowhere as a team. So they have, I guess.
Well, John Wall will be returning soon too, no?
Yeah, but John Wall, I wouldn't hold out any hope. He's going to miss the whole year. But this year, this is pretty much a
the
wash.
whole year he's gonna miss? Oh wow.
Oh, John Wall's out, man. He's that whole contract is messed up.
Well, I hope Rui keeps it up. And I know it's only the first week, so I don't want to go too high on him. But
yeah,
I like what I've been seeing. I like his stats, his consistency. So we'll see how that goes.
Yes.
What about you? Who you like?
I guess I mean we can't ignore Ja Morant. He's been balling out. I think he's dealing with like some type of a slight injury to his ankle, I believe. But he put out a very nice line where 30 points and 9 assists in their only win against Brooklyn. So he went toe to toe with Kyrie. Held his own terms there. I think Kyrie dropped 37, but Ja got the last laugh. They got the win, so that's looking good. I think Memphis has a good foundation with Ja and JJJ. So I think right now he's the front runner even to win Rookie of the Year by some sports book. But we'll have to wait for.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see when Zion comes back.
Yeah, Zion. We're still waiting on Zion. Other than that, I guess RJ Barrett, he's looked decent. He's dropping 20 a game.
Yeah, he's in the same situation with Ja, right? They're both really good in a very shitty team, in a very shitty situation. But in a way, it works out for them because they get to play more and they get to f around and have crazy amount of turnovers, and they don't really give a shit right now.
Yeah, but I'm a little concerned just because New York Knicks as a franchise, they don't do a lot of things right. So RJ Barrett, I mean, he's in a good spot, but then again, it's New York Knicks. Issue with him though, he's shooting 44% from the free throw line, which is a little concerning. For a 3-point shooter, and I don't know. He's gonna have to work on that. Maybe it'll balance out. Maybe it's just it's only been.
I thought he was a shooter.
He is a shooter. He knocks down threes and stuff, but free throws.
He's got a pretty good jump shot and everything else, but I wasn't expecting him to be shitty in free throws. Was that always a thing for him, and even in college?
I would imagine so, but I'm not too sure about that. Also, honorable mentions to Kobe White, who's doing okay, but he's had a couple of rough games. Who else? Rookie wise, I think that's about it, right?
I think for now that's about it. We don't want to talk about them too much because it's only been a week and
It's only been a week, and
the cards aren't even out yet.
right. But keep an eye on some of these
Yeah.
guys. I think with the absence of Zion, a lot of Jazz cards are going to be absorbing some of that value, so they might be priced a little bit higher. But yeah, Hachimura might be good value. Tyler Hero's been in the news and he's been making highlights, so
I'm gonna collect some Rui Hachimura just because I'm Asian.
yeah. Okay, so I guess that's about it for the rookies right now.
Why don't we talk about the spotlight now? The team spotlight.
Team spotlight. Okay, so we promised you guys we're gonna do some team outlooks and whatnot. So we're gonna start it off with the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, just as an overall outlook for the Hawks, they're looking really nice right now. They're set up with obviously Trae Young is their main piece going forward. They got John Collins. That's gonna be their power
center.
forward / center of the future. Yes.
They need he needs another part of us. Splash Brothers. That's what he needs. He can't
For
be.
Trae?
Yeah, it's like they said. They model him after Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So I think that if they want that Golden State, feel with that team, they'll need another shooter. Trae Young can't keep doing this every night. So they'll need something. Even though they're more of a balanced team in a way that they have a power forward and all, but.
Well, right now they're still in the early phases
That's right.
of their build. I mean, from their current roster right now, their front office has said that this is coming into this year. That is basically Trae Young, John Collins, and Kevin Huerter. Those are the three pieces that they are now willing to move. They drafted Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter, and hopefully they fit in.
I like Cam Reddish as well.
Cam Reddish, yeah. There's a lot of upside there. He's a work in progress, but there's upside there. They still have some bad contracts salary dumps that they picked up while they were, I guess, tanking and accumulating assets. Chandler Parsons is still on this team, making $25 million.
That's a big waste of money.
Well, that's what it is, right? So he's going to be off the books this year.
Yeah, they have a pretty good team, that deep team. They got Evan Turner, Jabbar Parker.
Yeah, but these are all guys that they're not part of the future.
Yeah.
Like Evan Turner is going to be out, Vince Carter is retiring, Allen Crabbe is out, and when all these guys are gone,
I don't think Vince Carter is retiring. He got one more year in come Toronto.
yeah,
No, I don't
maybe,
think so. I'll just
maybe.
I hope not.
But to stay with the Hawks, so at the end of this season, they're going to be one of the 4 or 5 teams that have the most amount of salary. So they're going to be able to go after some players. So this is potentially a landing spot for Brandon Ingram. So when the Pelicans failed to give Ingram the extension, so that makes him a restricted free agent at the end of this season. And at that point, any team that wants to sign Brandon Ingram can offer him an offer sheet, and Atlanta could be one of the teams. They'll have the money.
That's a good place for him. He will work out really well. Then they'll have all these type of length in that team, and they'll be a scary team.
This is a team that I think is right at that sweet spot where they're about to turn the page from being a development team. I think they're going to start contending next season.
Then they'll probably have a pick too, right? They could probably get a lottery pick, depending on how. Well, I guess we'll see how they. I'm not sure what their draft. If they have any draft picks for next year.
Yeah, but they already have. So it's basically Trae Young is their point guard, and John Collins is their big man. Whether he plays power forward or center, that's their big man. And Kevin Huerter, he's fine.
He's a shooting guard, right?
He's a shooting guard, but I'm not personally very high on him. I think for this team to be good, he's got to be like their fifth best player. So they have expectations for Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish, so he was at Duke with Zion and Barrett, RJ Barrett. And there's some people actually compare him to Paul George. He's 20 years old. It's a lot of he's a shooter. He can shoot too, and he can put the ball on the floor. So we'll see if he works out or not. If he works out, he's going to play the small forward spot. And DeAndre Hunter, he's been starting, I think, every game this season.
Yep.
And this is a player.
He's alright. He still needs a little bit more work. He's a bit inconsistent sometimes, but he's a rookie. That's expected.
Yeah. This is a guy that spent 2 years in college, where most guys just do one and done. So he's a little bit older. I think he's already 21, turning 22 shortly. So those are the main pieces. It's basically Trae Young, John Collins, Kevin Huerter, and then hopefully DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish work out. Everybody else on this team is it's a trade asset, or they're just gonna dump them eventually. So once
Vince Carter comes to Toronto by the end of the year, and then they'll retire him.
Yeah, they should. I mean, Carter, he deserves
There
it.
is no way I think that's why he's holding out. He wants to come back and do a little, retirement thingy, and then that's it. Then he can finally quit.
Yeah. I think somebody even told him that maybe he was gonna be
One day
all-star.
contract.
1 day contract, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think they wanted to make him an honorary all-star, and I think he rejected it.
Which is good. I'm happy. Like, you don't just want. I don't know.
It's more of a pity.
Yeah, exactly.
Pity
He wants to earn it, right? He doesn't need. They have some other guys on the Hawks, like Jabari Parker, Trash. Alex Len.
Why don't we talk about John Collins' value right now?
Yeah, so looking at cards
and trays.
Yes. Looking at cards in terms of collecting. So from the beginning of the season, Trae Young, he popped off. Like he went crazy. He came into the season. The PSA 10s were about $300. You could have had him at $300. Around October 20. Now we're sitting at like October 30th, 10 days later, and the cards actually ran up to over 500 in just those first 3 games. He went off on 3 games, and every game the card just kept moving higher and higher. Now with the injury, he's going to be sidelined for a little bit.
Today, I still think that he'll be back sometime next week. It won't be in weeks.
Yeah, that's fine. But so Trae Young. His PSA 10 right now for the Prizm Silvers is around $500, but I have a slight issue with that because the Prizm Silvers for Trae Young, the numbers are ridiculous. I mean, like the print runs. If you look at last year's Prizm print run, it's doubled since the previous year.
Yeah.
And the previous year, it doubled from the year before that. So just as a comparison, if we want to look at it, so what I did was I went on the PSA and the BGS population report to pull these numbers. So when the Prizm set was introduced in the 2012-13 season, that was the first time the Panini made the Prizm boxes.
Yeah.
So from the 2011 draft class, I guess the best players from that draft were easily Kawhi Leonard and Kyrie. So when I looked at the numbers of how many of the Prizm Silvers from that draft class were sent for grading, Kawhi, there's a total of 118 Prizm Silvers, and Kyrie, there's 187 Prizm Silvers. This is a combination of the PSA and BGS numbers. And I read somewhere on a forum, I forget where, but some guy did some research where he looked at 1,000 box breaks, and the number, I think he said from his research, he said there was about 180 Prizm Silvers that were made in that first year. But there's 187 Kyries, so obviously it's more than 180. But I would estimate it to be at about 200. Just to go through the numbers, in 2012, Anthony Davis, there's 130 graded Prizm Silvers. In the 2013-14 year, Panini added a whole bunch of parallels and they increased the print run, but not by too much. So Giannis from that year has 271 PSA and BGS graded silvers. And in the 2014-15 season, Embiid has 154, Wiggins has around 170. In the 2015-16 season, mind you, Panini's been adding a whole bunch of parallels each year. But in the 2015-16 season, Cat has 625 graded cards, Kristaps 540, and here's where the jump happens. So from the 15-16 to the 16-17 season, Ben Simmons has 1,070 graded cards.
Oh.
And Cat had 625 from the previous year, right? And then again, the number jumps from 2016-17 to 17-18. Lonzo Ball and Jason Tatum, they have about 1,625 graded cards each. And this is not including the cards that haven't been graded, the cards that haven't been opened from packs and whatnot. So 1,620 for Lonzo Ball. And then we jump into last year's draft class, Luka Doncic, Trae Young. So Doncic this far has 3,148 graded Prizm Silvers, and Trae Young has 2,912 graded Prizm Silvers. So just to look back at it, 2,912 for Trae Young, 624 for Cat, and we can compare that with Anthony Davis, who has 130. So these cards are not rare anymore. The Prizm Silvers, Panini is printing a shitload of them, and they're probably going to print a whole bunch this year for Zion. So anyways, but right now the market still thinks the Prizm Silver is the card to collect, and right now that's the card to flip. So if you want to get in on some Trae Young.
What about Collins? How is he?
Collins is good. Collins is cheap. He's underpriced right now. But yeah, just going back to Trae Young, I would suggest if you want to hold it short term, go ahead, buy the Prizm Silver, wait for a dip. I think 500 is okay, but he might go up to 700-800 by the end of the season. But long term, I would suggest you collect a different card, maybe the Optic Hollow. That's something you want to look at. So there's where the print run is much lower. So compared to the 2,912 Prizm Silvers, there's only 69 Optic Hollows. So I would go with something like that, or even look at the selects. But I'm not buying any Trae Young right now. I think he's priced.
Yeah. Plus
pretty
we already have some Trae Youngs from last year, no?
Possibly. I don't think I have too much Trae Young. I have some, but it's not the Prizm Silvers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So John Collins, right now that's value. You're getting value with John Collins. That's the 2017-18 draft. So it's not the last year, it's the year before that. So the print run is much lower on the Prizm Silvers on that. It's about half of Trae Young. Right now, the Prizm Silver PSA 10s for John Collins is around 150 to 175. Because he's not that popular, really. So
They're getting there.
Yeah,
Let's see
yeah,
how much of a noise that the team makes this year, and just as long as Trae Young is killing it out there, they'll always hear John Collins, because these guys they're a good duo.
Yeah, so John Collins is actually like for me it's a buy. Like I like John Collins long term. Uh, well, long term as in mid to long term, not too long. Uh, but his price is way cheaper than Trey Young, so I'm sure you can get like if you look at his optic hollows, the PSA 10s, you can get them for like $40, $50 graded. Ungraded, they're like $10 or even cheaper. I think that's a really good buy, the optic hollows. Or just go after any of his Prism silvers or Prism silver parallels, blues, greens.
I don't. What is this optic hollow? I don't remember.
That's just a different set. Optic is it's a different set of cards. It's got a it was introduced I think 3 seasons ago, so it's a new set, so newer set, and the designs are clean. They still get silver.
Hollow, that like hologram.
Yeah. It shines. It's pretty, whatever, and the cards are really clean. But they're getting some shine right now. People are starting to realize that those cards are very nice looking cards. And I think as the market realizes that the Prism silvers are being overprinted, I think some of the people
Optic
are
hollow is the next big thing.
I mean, it's set up for it. I don't know if it's like the market has to decide, but I think. I think collectors.
Do you have any optic hollow?
Yeah. That's I target
see
optic
some.
hollows now. I'm going after all the Jaron Jackson Juniors and all my guys for. It's just cheaper. It's cheaper and it has upside.
Oh, nice.
So those are the only two guys right now. I don't really believe in Herder. Herder is whatever. He's a role player in my opinion. And then the young guys, DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish, so far just college cards. These are the guys I'm going to keep an eye on. And I think you like Hunter, right?
I like Hunter.
Yeah.
I drafted him
Yeah.
on my fantasy league.
So yeah, Hunter is something to keep an eye on. Cam
Keeper
Reddish.
fantasy league. So if he does good, I'm going to keep him for next year. So I got him cheap.
Yeah. I mean, they're hoping him and Reddish work out, and that's gonna be the base where
See
this
how
team
it
is
plays
gonna
out.
go off
I'll
of.
let you guys know if I end up dropping this guy.
Yeah. Other than that, do we have anything else we want to talk about?
I think we covered pretty much everything that we wanted.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys have yourself.
A good night.
Yeah.
A good rest.
Yeah. Enjoy the games. Lots of games. A lot of fun games. I look forward to the Raptors Milwaukee game.
Yep. And you guys do your thing, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.